Welcome everyone. We're live for another Discord World Cup. Discord World Cup game. This is going to be Philippine Dragon player Cyclone Zero against French Dragon player Shutrav. I'm gonna go really quickly through the deck list. Dragon is playing Seeker of Void Dragon deck, Splashing Crab for 2 Mountain, 3 Reprieve. That's interesting. The restricted is Void Fist. We have 3 Sumiko, so that's something you have to look for. Favor is going to be pretty important. 2 Itomi and 2 Yokuni for the rest. Oh, and quite a lot of holdings. And for the rest, it's pretty traditional on the Dynasty side. 2 Censure on the conflict side, so that's just a bit more pressure on the favor. 1 Jade Masterpiece, that is a bit unusual. And obviously the 300 Master because of the favor importance. On the Crane side, we have Seeker of Void Dragon Splash for 1 Ancient Master, 1 Tattooed Wanderer, and 3 Let Go. Restricted being, I guess, policy debate. Yeah, it is. Dynasty side, we've got Whisper, Prashner, Shima. There's 1 Azami, 2 Takamori, sorry, and 1 Otoru. We have the 1 of Gunbai and 1 of Formal Invitation. We also have 1 of Above Question, that's a cheeky one. 1 Fumiki. There is the 1 of Assassination you have to be careful for. 1 of Gossip and Story Defeats, and 1 of Noble Sacrifice, just in case. Only 2 court games. And yeah, 2 more political rival in the conflict characters. Okay, sounds pretty standard. Yeah, they just started, that's perfect. Crane win the toss. Not sure what you prefer to floy past Crane against a Dragon player. You're not having Scoots anymore. Maybe Brush. Like, Toshimoko is probably not that great against a Void Fist deck, especially if Dragon can get a huge monk out early. So what do we have? Yeah, we're gonna see Raitsugu for Dragon, and likely Toshimoko for Crane. Yeah, there it is. Free Fate Toshimoko, so it's a duelist, very good with the Tojo. There's the Favorable Ground. That's a good flop for Crane. And Dragon plays the Raitsugu, is going to extend it. Crane has the Passing Fate. So that Raitsugu is going to need to be quite big to be interesting to duel against the Toshimoko. Especially because after the first duel, Toshimoko is going to get honored from Kyuden Kakita. What do you do as Crane there? Like, I think you do just pass, yeah. And you don't do any conflicts because you want to defend your station. Just in case the Dragon player finds it. Yeah, there we are. So as Dragon, I think you also want to pass here. Yep. So now Crane has the choice of passing or going in. I think you still have to pass as Crane, like you still have to pass your conflict. You lose a bit more value than the Dragon player from not having any conflict happening. If Dragon passes his conflict, you lose some. Oh, okay, he goes in. That's interesting. And tries to get rid of Mitsu. So Void hits upholding. That's unfortunate. But he has the favorable ground to bring. Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, obviously you attack with the favorable ground as the Crane player. Like you can try to force the defense, and if Dragon does not defend, then just go back home, which is very likely what we're gonna see here. Like Crane is going to go back home. After that, Dragon, if he has an Ancient Master, can decide not to do a conflict, play an Ancient Master and snipe the favor. That would be a good play for Dragon. Given that the Void Ring is not so important, I kind of feel that should have decided to go on. Yep, there we see it. It goes back with the further ground. Tapping as dragon, you're just happy to pass that. Getting the ring there gives you literally nothing. There we go, right? So with the finger of Jade. So if you find the shameful display, you're pretty immune to the effect. And you hope not to find station or be able to break it, I guess. But that's the pilgrimage. That's pretty good for the crane player. I guess you just defend that. And then you unload every attachment you have on this Toshimoko. Now immediately duels, we're gonna see the finger of Jade going out. So that Toshimoko cannot honor itself. Yeah, there it is. And we see Dragon putting attachments on Raitsugu now. Would be good if Crane has some attachments to put on Toshimoko. Or Banzai to play. Yeah, Way of the Crane also does it, but it's a bit... It looks like a bit of a tell that you don't have much to put into the conflict, because otherwise you would have waited to use your Stronghold. Seal of the Dragon, we're gonna see the Void Fist here, I think. Stronghold Void Fist. Crane still has one action to do something. You want to play the Banzai here, knowing that if it doesn't go, then... Oh, okay, couldn't buy. Interesting. That might be a mistake. I think that should have been the first action. You couldn't buy, and you honor Toshimoko immediately. Yeah. You have to beat 5 for the Gunbai here, because yeah, you really don't want that Raitsugu to get it. That you give a lot of honor to the Dragon player, which is not ideal. Yeah, disguised Nyoshiko really well disguised. You don't have the right to disguise anything because you're an unnamed character. So you can only be a disguised target. Yeah. So going into the next turn, we see no Enchant Master. Favor goes for Crane. Dragon plays Tomb Shugenja here. Yeah, I guess it makes sense. You want to try to bank Fate so that you can play one of these two Mitsu next turn. And we see the Palace flipping for Crane, playing Toshimoko Free Fate and forbidding Raitsugu to be in any conflict. That's really good. Like this two attachments, Raitsugu is no non-existent for this turn, I would say. Because Dragon has no moving capacity. There is no Hawk Tattoo in the deck. So no Raitsugu effects there. That's a bit... Yeah, that's going to be a rough turn for Dragon here. Especially if Crane can honor this Toshimoko, this Takamori, sorry, then he has a first rank character to put into a conflict. He's fine on card. Crane is late on honor now. Like he's down 5 points, 6 points. That's a lot. Far from being in the danger zone now. But because it's a dueling deck, it means that it's going to diminish your ability to start duels freely without taking any risks. So we see Doom Shungenja going Void onto Pilgrimage. Okay, I think if you do so, yeah, I don't like that too much, but I think there isn't many of the good alternatives. You probably just want to try to force the Crane player to defend. Oh yeah, okay, finally decides to pass your opponent. I think it's better. Like if you're not sure to be able to break that pilgrimage, then you better not go at all. And if you break it, then you're exposed to Find Station, which is not better. Like you definitely don't want to have to Find Station on the turn when you have literally nothing to put into a conflict to break it. So I guess as Crane here, you would be very happy to get rid of the double Mitsu, but that's probably a bit difficult to do. Your second player is also, so you could try to get rid of one, and then try on your last conflict to get rid of the second one. Problem being, one of your two characters don't have strength now, so that's the first issue. And the second issue being like, if you get rid of the copy on upholding, then upholding triggers. So yeah, he uses Takamori to scoot. That's really good because if you find restoration and you just don't care. Oh, okay, shameful. That's awful. Like that Takamori is -3 skill now. If Dragon decides to defend, and yeah, there it is. Dragon has to defend because if Crane has a voice, a way off, then Takamori is 3 strength and is breaking, so you need to. He might have a conflict character though. But defense with the Shinja tells me he doesn't. Because it would have been better to play an Ancient Master then. Just using the Shameful on the Ancient Master. Rather than on a Doom Shinja. Oh yeah, but it's water, so okay, yeah. Yeah, it's better to defend anyway because you're gonna get both. Yeah, that's what the ring is good because it forces Dragon to defend. So I guess after that, if Dragon has no conflict character, you just go back on your second conflict and smash the Shameful. So we see court games to a no tech Takamori. Okay, so now he's winning the conflict. But we're gonna see the Shameful display here. Yeah, there it is. Oh no, court games to this and no tech Takamori. Okay. I guess as the Dragon player here, you try to prevent the break without using your Shameful. And then Crane has to come back in a second conflict on the Shameful with the Shameful still on, which is annoying. Because then if you have an Ancient Master, it can make it a bit harder to break. So we see a duel with the duel with the Dojo to a no Takamori. So no Takamori is blank, which you obviously don't give a shit about. And he's winning the conflict. So we're gonna see the Shameful display, I think, at some point. No, it just passes. Okay. Yeah, actually, you don't care about winning that ring, right? Just gives a ring for favor count, but the effect is totally unneeded. So what I think as Crane, you can't try to break that. You don't have the right to try because if you try to break, then Shameful is going to be used, and you will be like done 3 on strength again. Yeah, so Dragon passes, Watering doing nothing. But now if Dragon doesn't, yeah, Dragon doesn't have a conflict character, so Crane can go back onto Shameful. If Dragon has a conflict character to play here, it's annoying for Crane because it might allow him to. Yeah, okay, it has to go on somewhere else. That's also interesting because you're telling Dragon, well, fine, play Mitsu, but you won't play Tommy. Not sure about that, honestly. Breaking that Shameful would be great, but it might be too risky, I agree. And also, if you, yeah, what happened there is finding Pilgrimage prevents Dragon to have the second Seeker Fate, so that's good. Yeah, it's unlikely to be Midnight Rivals because it's a Seeker of Void. Yeah. Aren't you supposed to be playing your game? Um, yeah, so it gets the Breck, Earthring, discards of Void Fist, so that's good. It's gonna get replayed by Mitsu, but it's always one less. It's a good shot. And let go for the Cloud Domain and Takamori. Yeah, that's good also. Especially because the... maybe you should have waited for the Doom Jet to be out of the board, so that if Dragon had another cloud, you wouldn't be able to play it now, because if Dragon had another one there, you could just like drop the other one. So you keep the Palace and the Dojo, I guess. Yeah, he's even... Oh yeah, he's first player, so he's just gonna play a Challenger. And as Dragon, I think you play Mitsu, like just big Mitsu, and you extend Raitsugu. That Dragon board starts to be quite scary for the Crane player. Yeah, I think like Crane has a lot of answers, but on the long run, should have really has to apply pressure, because we're gonna... Okay, 4 fate on 3 fate on Mitsu. I would have put 4 honestly, but yeah, the extent gave him +1, but you have still 6 fate, and you just want that Mitsu to be there up to the end of the game. We see the Maya Mystic. I'm not too sure about that, honestly. Maybe to remove the gun by, or yeah, remove the gun by is probably a good choice. It's a +2 in each stats, so it's good to remove. The thing is, the Void Fist deck is probably... It's the one that has the easiest time, I think, breaking through Magistrate Station, because like you can just Void Fist whatever is defending away. It costs you resources, but if you want to get it, you will get it, I would say. And Raitsugu is still out of the board because of Takamori effect while playing the Challenger. So now I guess, as Nyoshiko mentioned, you go with the Challenger, you pull in the Mitsu. A first action from Dragon could be dropping a Finger of Jade on the Mitsu, and then you can't pull him in. Well, you can, but Finger's gonna kick in. Scouting a new province, that's gonna be Restoration. I'm not sure you prefer Restoration to Upholding, honestly. Because if Dragon has a Finger here, you're in huge trouble. Because you can pull a Mystic, but then Dragon just sacrifices the Mystic. Oh, wait, there is no Restoration on that Dragon list? Okay, I missed that. That's huge. No Restoration of Balance, sorry. So that's a Manicured Garden, and you kinda do not care about hitting it. So that's your farming province, if you need to go back somewhere. I guess he's taking the Void Ring just to not let it to the Dragon player, which makes sense given you have a 1 Fate Takamori on board. So yeah, there we see the Finger of Jade, so that Mitsu isn't pulled in by the Challenger. So now you have the choice between pulling in... Well, you can also like just pull nothing, and if you have a boost for your Challenger, then you just try to take the break. That also works. And you can just try to pull the Mitsu to get rid of the Finger, which is also a good choice. So yeah, we see Challenger pulling Mitsu, Finger getting discarded. You have literally no reason not to try to get the Finger discarded as Crane there. Because there we see the Ornate Fans try to get the break. Dragon will very likely not let you pull the Mitsu. Because you're even unpolitical, and if you pull a Mitsu and Crane plays a court game, then you just like wasted your best character on board. on one of your only available character on board. So now we might see me a Mystic discarded to get rid of the fan. I think if it happens, you're happy about that as a Crane player, because like Gunby is a much better target for the Mystic. But it would prevent the breakdown. Okay, with your code games, this is another challenger that also works. So now if Shutra has a code games, he wants to play it, but then the Mystic might discard your fan and you can end up not breaking. Because your code games could have been your answer to keep breaking in case the fan get discarded. Like that fan play kind of told the opponent that you had something to boost. Yeah, there we see the way of the Crane Tourno back. A good play could have been to pull in the Maya Mystic, forcing the Dragon player to discard it immediately. Oh yeah, that wouldn't have changed anything actually. So there he gets the break. It's a bit surprising that Dragon does not discard Maya Mystic. Try and prevent the break. I think he assumed that if with 14 cards in hand, Shutrev did have an answer to that to keep breaking anyway, which is very likely true. Giant Masterpiece on the Mitsu. So now we're gonna see some Fate moving on rings, and that's gonna be a huge value over time. I guess if you can dishonor that Mitsu, that's your dishonor target. But that Mitsu is very likely gonna win the Fire Ring and honor himself, which means it's going to be really hard to nibble sack. Going on Pilgrimage, covering Toshimoko, sorry. So Takamori can defend, but it's just 3 military. I think you want to defend anyway to try to force the Dragon player to expend at least one Void Fist. Because the longer you will keep the Dragon player piling the Void Fist, the more dangerous it's going to be for you, because once he will be on your stronghold, if he has like 2 or 3 Void Fists, you won't have any answer to that. So we see Gossip, and he's going to name the Void Fist. There we are, no copies of Void Fist playable this phase. So it's annoying for the Dragon player, but at the same time, now you're free of Void Fist. Like there is no other Void Fist in game. No other Gossip in game. That was the lone copy of it. That's a card I have been like really. Yeah, I agree with Neoshko actually. You can wait for the dragon to spend 2 cards, and then afterwards you gossip. We see dragon players here that knows what's happening. Yeah, in terms of economy, that definitely would have been better because dragon would have spent cards to try to get that Void Fist on, and then you would have wasted those cards for nothing. Also, it makes more difficult for Dragon to choose whether he wants to cycle a card from his discard or not. And he's likely going to take the break anyway. Because that Mitsu has an additional +2, so it would be 12 against 4. If you are a bonsai would be enough to save your province as Crane. Some 4 shame also would do, I guess. So I think as Dragon, you really don't want that Mitsu to get dishonored. It's a bit too risky. Like I think as Crane, you're pretty happy to exchange your 1 Fate Toshimoko for the 4 Fate to attachment Mitsu if he gets dishonored. Because otherwise you cannot attack this turn. So Dragon is left with a Maya Mystic, which isn't too great. And your daimyo doesn't really count in the exchange because the Mystic can get rid of the daimyo goodbye anyway. So it's literally just a 1 Fate Toshimoko. Well, it's on hold, but I think I would agree to sack it to kill the 4 Fate Mitsu if I could. But with 10 cards in hand, it's likely that the dragon player has reprieves. So we see the Banzai trying to save the province. We're gonna... Dragon needs 3 more. Stronghold only gives him 2. Not sure I like this kind of intervention from Potato. Dragon passes out, yeah. So Crane just lets the ring fire. Oh no, Pilgrimage cancels the ring, sorry, it's Pilgrimage. So Dragon gets the ring for nothing. I think that was a good conflict for Crane here, like, oh, and another Cloud Domain from Dragon. So that was the reason why Maya Mystic was played. I think you just wait and let it go later if you can. That Takamori staying non-blank is pretty key to keep Raitsugu out of conflicts, which is really important for the Crane player. Going to Shameful is Takamori, so we're gonna see the Maya Mystic defend that one, I think. Honoring it, dishonoring Takamori. Because anyway, Shameful is gonna break, so you want to try to get the activation with the Maya Mystic, and then you sack. Well, it also means you have no other conflict, and Crane still have to. But like Crane takes water is gonna stand something. I would take water as Crane at least. You just stand the challenger. Oh no, it's your last conflict, sorry. So you just take Earth, I would say. Like the one Fate is okay, he prefers to go for the Fate. Yeah, he's a bit low on honor. On a dual deck that might be very relevant actually. Yeah, okay. Seems here it's not an obvious choice. I think Earth is better, honestly. Like you're gonna get to 13 cards against 8. That could draw you the let go you need to get rid of the cloud. And if you get only one of the 3 and you're at 50% of your deck, that would be very good to have one other. You have good probabilities to get one. Well, decent probabilities. So yeah, we see the Mystic defending. Tattooed Wanderer going in, so he wants to try to avoid the province breaking. You can honor the Wanderer, dishonor Takamori, sack the Mystic to remove the gun die, so that would be -4 strength for Toshimoko. So you would be 4 against 2. But there we see a policy debate. Yeah, only problem is your Takamori is gonna get dishonored after the policy debate, which means you won't be able to use your stronghold to re-honor him. It's a bit sad, but so what do you discard here? Like Void Fist, I would say. So that there is two in the discard, and Mitsu cannot copy both of them in the same turn. It's hard to choose that. There is also a Reprieve, the Soul of the Dragon. If you want to try to kill that Mitsu, you have to discard the Reprieve, but it's not going to happen that turn, so the risk that Dragon throws another one is pretty real. Uh, yeah, there we see the Void Fist going away. So now we're going to see Shameful kicking in, I guess. No, you want to discard the gun by first, then Shameful, so that if Crane has another duel, then the Takamori trigger happens. when Takamori is as low as possible. Oh, sorry, the duel happens when Takamori has as low strength as possible for duel. Yeah, that's a mistake. You should have removed Genbai first. Because now Crane is free to duel again, right? If he has another dueling card. And there is the dojo, so you can duel with the dojo. You just drill the Wanderer. You don't give a shit about the result. Oh yeah, yeah, actually, yeah, of course, I'm stupid. You just duel the Mystic so that it's blank. It's until the end of the conflict though, so it's going to be fired later for something else. But it's good already that you cannot discard the Gunbai during the conflict, so because no, it pretty much guarantees the break for you. So if I'm correct, that's a turn 2 Crane. Getting 3 breaks on Dragon, right? No, turn 3, sorry. Dragon position is really bad here. His 3 breaks down, his 50% cards tone on the Crane player, and that's 6 cards. This like 500 do not mean too much. He's done on Fates, slightly up on clock, but it doesn't matter at that point. And he has like nothing left to do. The Crane player keeps the favor because of Palace and one more ring. There we see the Miami Stick getting rid of the Gunbai. I guess that's good. It's the best target on board. What do you want on board as Dragon here? Try to save yourself. And there we see the let go to discard the Cloud Domain after the Shugen Gel left the board, which is really good. That's what should have happened already with the first let go play this game. Because you're taking, if you don't do it this way, you're taking the risk that Dragon has another one and just play the Cloud immediately. So as Dragon here, if you have another Cloud, you want to have Swordsmith. Uh, as Crane, you throw away the case in anyway, and the Palace, yeah. Well, keeping Palace actually is fine because like you, well, yeah, if you had kept the Palace, you would have had no Brash Samurai. I think you're still fine with that. Like you just play Hotaru with the Punch of Fate, and you go into the next phase. And yeah, he's going to play Hotaru, forbid Mitsu to go into conflicts. So no Raitsugu is on, but Raitsugu is more or less useless compared to Mitsu, obviously, in this situation. Because he's going to be able to remove Fates, but I'm not sure he's going to be able to kill the Takamori. The Toshimoko, it doesn't feel like he can. You won't be putting Takamori in front of him anyway. And we see the free Fate Hotaru, so that's a lot of political power to go on the Stronghold. Dragon Stronghold has to be Sacred Sanctuary anyway. Not even Sacred. Okay, it's Midnight Rivals. Really interesting. I totally disagree with the choice of not playing Sacred Sanctuary when you're playing a Monk deck. So that Hotaru actually can get bowed by the Midnight Rivals, which is slightly annoying for the Crane player. Dragon's going first, so what do you do as Dragon? I guess you go water with the Maya Mystic and you try to bow the Takamori. Like if he... The Toshimoko, sorry. Uh, yeah, Initiate also makes sense because you're gonna get the strength boost from... Yeah, Initiate is better actually. But you could get dueled and blank before even being able to use its ability. I yeah, disagree with that choice. You have to if you want the water ring to be used, but now you're in huge trouble. Crane is going to defend with Hotaru. That's a tell that he had. Oh no, Toshimoko. Okay, defending with Hotaru was kind of a tell that he has the ability to honor Hotaru, so that she would stand with the magistrate station. Defending with Toshimoko is just to ensure that that ring is not going to fire anyway. Well, it could fire, but like there is nothing to bow anymore on board or nothing to stand, so the ring is pretty useless now. Which makes Dragon play because that's exactly what he wanted. He wanted to get Toshimoko bowed. Yeah, Dragon passing. Crane's pretty happy with that. You don't have any reason to invest there as Dragon anyway because the ring doesn't make sense anymore. I could have honored the initiate honestly, because like, why not? Yeah, it's a bit weird that he didn't. So political rival going in, eating a card immediately to prevent the covert, which makes sense because if there is a covert on that right Sugu, then it's game. But like even with the covert, like you just go all in with Challenger, Hotaru, Rival on the Stronghold. Hotaru gets bowed. You're at 6, 7, 8, 9 political strength against the 3 of Raitsugu. 4 with the Mystic. Yeah, that could still. Dragon probably can stand this conflict. So Crane has to do something else, like going military with the Challenger, pulling in the Raitsugu, and then going political with. Yeah, but then yeah, yeah, but there's no water ring back. Yeah, that's a good play from the dragon because it forbids Crane to go military, get Hotaru boat, and stun her with the water. So that was good to get the water ring off board. Yeah, we see Crane deciding to go all in. Hotaru is gonna get boat, all in air, so for the 2 fate. Yeah, I guess it's pretty decent ring choice. Fire might have been good also. So yeah, Hotaru getting boat, but it's still 12 strength. It's a lot. And we see only Raitsugu defending. Uh, there's 2 Void Fist in the discard, so he might have the third one in hand. But then we're gonna see a Voice of Honor for sure. Yeah, I think Dragon is toasted there. Like there's nothing that can save him the game, unless Crane hand is awful, and Dragon has a godlike hand. But apart from that, I see no way for Dragon to save himself. Like we see Stronghold first, okay. That's good because it forces Crane to put a bit more resources if he wants to succeed a policy debate with, I would say, Hotaru, but I think he has enough honor now. Oh, for shame. Okay, yeah, that's bad. And there we're gonna see a noble sacrifice unless Dragon has a Finger of Jade. Reprieve also does the trick, definitely. Is there the third let go for Crane? The third one? Oh, I think not because you would have played it on the Cloud Domain anyway. So Crane doesn't have the third let go here. Yeah, a second fall shape also works, definitely. So that's game. Um, yeah, we see one of the French player teammates joining to spectate the game, but a bit late. Well, he's there to see the grand final at least. So Hurricane Punch on Raitsugu trying to get a Void Fist out of the card draw. Like, can you void with something that matters? Like, Crane still gets the break anyway. You need to void with the rival, but you can't even, like, if you play cold games, then Hotaru gonna get dishonored for no effect. Like, yeah, you really can't do anything about that as Dragon. I feel like no Dragon is just trying to use its abilities until before conceding. But it's the end of the game there. There is literally nothing in the Dragon deck that could allow him to come back from that. And even if, like, yeah, we're gonna see the Voice of Honor there. Yeah, there it is. No Voice of Honor played up to now was pretty obvious that with 13 cards left, it was very likely he had one. At least one. So no more Void Fist available. So let go to remove the Ornate Fan. Are we gonna see a second Voice of Honor? Maybe. Nope. Let go get discarded. It's still breaking, so you don't care too much. Like, you have 12 strength. Dragon would need a miracle here. Because, like, even if you defend that conflict, like, what do you do after that? Crane gonna stand Toshimoko with the Magistrate Station. Okay, 1 against 12. Against 10, sorry. So you still need something like +4. So we see a duel to both the Ancient Master, and there we are. Challenger honored 12-0. Yeah, I mean, even with just the Ancient Master and 6 cards, I don't know what you can do to defend that. And maybe a Banzai. Yeah, Banzai could have helped, but then Crane might have another voice. We see the salty double for shame still works. Yeah, it still works. Always have worked. And that's the reason why some people still keep playing 2 of those for shame rather than 3. It's just to chain 2 of those. Yeah, that was quite a bit of a spanking from the Crane player. Yeah, as Trev just said, from that point the game was pretty over anyway. Like, it's 3 provinces to 0. Crane still has the stand from the Magistrate Station on. Like, there is literally no way Dragon survives that. Thank you very much for watching and have a very nice afternoon. Bye.